Now that they know the dossier is a fake, remember the Obama two-step cover-up counter-narrative, the cover-up has to start. This White House meeting happens on January 5th. This is the January 5th, 2016. Trump's about to take office. 15 days later, Obama's team, they're freaking out. They don't know what to do because they're going to be discovered. The day before, as a matter of fact, the FBI tries to close the case on Flynn, knowing they have no derogatory information, and Comey gets involved. They then pop into the White House the next day, and here is the email Susan Rice sends to herself, now in totally unredacted fashion, memorializing that January 5th meeting, and here's the paragraph we just found out about. Director Comey affirmed that he is proceeding by the book. This is the paragraph we've just seen for the first time, as it relates to law enforcement. From a national security perspective, Comey said he does have some concerns that the incoming NSA Flynn is speaking frequently with Russian Ambassador Kislyak. This is big trouble, ladies and gentlemen. He also says he has indication that he has some indication that Flynn may have passed some classified information and that the level of communication is unusual. That he could have shared that information. What are the takeaways from here? The takeaways in that email to herself, Susan Rice has sent, knowing this is going to be discovered, are, ladies and gentlemen, the cover-up begins now. So think of this as the Obama two-step. Think of it as the Obama two-step. Number one, what are you laughing at? She's laughing at there, man. The first Obama two-step, step number one of the Obama two-step is first they have to cover up that they were spying on Trump. Because now everybody's going to know the dossier they used and they swore to in court. This dossier is real, the PP tape stuff. They know it's fake. Even the UK's not going to stand by it. They know it's fake. They're in big trouble. So step number one is the cover-up. Step number two is going to be the establishment of a counter-narrative. The counter-narrative, not that Obama colluded with the Russians or colluded with a foreign spy to spy on Donald Trump, his foreign spy being Steele. It's going to be that Trump colluded with the Russians. That's all hatched on January 5th at this meeting. And Susan Rice, this is the cover-up begins. And here are the takeaways. There are two things in that they didn't want you to see. They redacted up until yesterday. Number one, Comey's predicate from the FBI, because remember in the email, Susan Rice is throwing Comey under the bus. She's saying in the email, to be clear, again, cover up and counter narrative. She's saying, oh, don't worry. Obama wanted to do everything by the book, and it was Jim Comey who had concerns here. Folks, Comey is an atrociously bad actor in this. But this attempt to minimize the role of Barack Obama by saying, oh, Comey had concerns about this frequent contact is absolutely absurd and ridiculous. Obama's running this whole thing. I have no doubt anymore. I'm going to get to that too in a minute. So the takeaways, Comey's concerns now going forward, remember, this is according to Susan Rice in her own email, are frequent contacts with Kislyak. Notice they don't allege anything illegal. He only says that he could potentially be sharing info with him. Folks, that's absolutely none of Jim Comey's business. This is the incoming national security advisor of the United States. Even if the contacts were frequent, were they not? Notice he doesn't say he was sharing classified information. He says he could potentially be sharing classified information. In other words, Comey has nothing. Nada. He has nothing. The cover-up is going to be, from this point forward, to focus on Flynn and to nail Flynn, because Flynn is going to be Trump's number one national security advisor. And if they can nail Flynn on anything with the Russians, they can continue the counter-narrative. Now, the cover-up part is going to be, if you read that email all the way through, at one point, Susan Rice indicates that Obama has concerns in there about sharing information with the incoming administration. Think about this. The peaceful transition of power in the United States has been entirely thrown out by Barack Obama. You have an exiting president getting ready to leave in 15 days. Now, according to Susan Rice's email, instructing the FBI and the Department of Justice, Jim Comey and Sally Yates from the DOJ, who were in that dreadful January 5th meeting, instructing them to not share information with the incoming administration regarding Russia. What do they really mean? Cover up, Obama two-step. Step one, They don't really mean don't share information about Russia. What they really mean is don't share any information about the Russia hoax we created through this fake dossier. That's what that really means. So step one, cover it all up. Don't share anything. We'll use the useful idiots in the media for a counter narrative. Step two, we'll advance this counter narrative by investigating Mike Flynn for ties to the Russians, and we can't even prove he did anything wrong. Now, fascinating question posed by Margot Cleveland on her Twitter. It's a good one. Hat tip to her. Margot Cleveland then asks on Twitter, she's an excellent attorney. She writes for The Federalist. If any of this was true, any of this meaning Comey has some suspicions, according to Susan Rice's email, that, Flynn's talking to the Russians too much. If those concerns were legitimate and genuine, ladies and gentlemen, and they thought Flynn was a potentially compromised Russian agent who was going to be the incoming national security advisor, why didn't they brief Trump about it? Wait. You can't. No. You can't have this both ways. You just documented in an email, Susan Rice, a meeting with Barack Obama himself, the outgoing president, where you claim the FBI told that president about some concerns about the incoming national security advisor potentially being compromised by the Russians, being some kind of a Russian asset because of his communications, and you didn't warn the president? You can't have it both ways. Either your concerns were legitimate that Flynn was a Russian agent, and you threw the United States under the bus by allowing a Russian agent to take office, and you never gave a defensive briefing to Donald Trump about it? Or the real scenario, you knew this whole thing was BS. You're trying to cover this whole thing up with this stupid email, and you're just looking for a reason to continue this and posing this Logan acting to Jim Comey, who's then telling you, yeah, these Russian contacts are really suspicious. No, they weren't. They were total nonsense. No one believed this for a minute. Remember, now I'll explain the beginning. That Sidney Powell legal brief, where she indicates Flynn got this correspondence from the UK about Steele being full of crap, is everything. Rice knows, Susan Rice, that Flynn got that email, got that communication. Flynn probably knows Rice has it too. Everybody now is staring each other down, knowing the other guy and other gal knows what the other guy and other gal knows. Rice knows the dossier is a fake. Flynn knows the dossier is a fake. And most importantly, Rice and Flynn know the other one knows the dossier is a fake, that they have been spying on the president based on garbage. This is absolutely critical. Now that they know the dossier is a fake, remember the Obama two-step cover-up counter-narrative, the cover-up has to start.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud and follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.